Hello, my pretties. It's the Lion Queen here. So, welcome to episode 278 of Shadows and Pretties. And today, in this episode, we are going to be talking about another Stephen King movie. And today, in this movie, we're going to be talking about stars Johnny Depp, and that is Secret Window. Now, this film stars Johnny Depp in this movie, which he was famous for being Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff. So, this movie is based on the Secret Window, Secret Garden in a collection of novelist novels written by Stephen King, also known as Four Past Midnight. So this one pretty much came out in 2004. So this movie stars, well, Johnny Depp in this film. And I really do like this film because it's got Johnny Depp in this. And I mean, I know who Johnny Depp is because I've seen him in a bunch of other movies. Like this one, I never expected him to be in a Stephen King movie, but it turns out he is. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, talk about what this movie is about in case of you guys who have not seen this movie in a long time and for those who would want a refresher. So I guess we should just begin with this. So basically, the plot begins with, well, Ted. Well, not Ted, but it basically is about what starts off the plot is, Amy having an affair with their friend Ted. So, that's when Mort finds out that she was having an affair with him. And of course, he retreats to his cabin at Tashmore in upstate, well, New York, while Amy stays in their Marshall home. 6 months later, Mort then feels depressed and he was been suffering from, well, pretty much writer's block, which I really have suffered that a lot of times when it comes to my stories, but this one definitely plays a really big role in, well, not really too much of a big role, but it does play a part in the story. And this will make you understand why. So, as of that, um, when Mort is suffering from writer's block, he's delayed in, finalizing the divorce. So, one day, a man named John Shooter, arrives at the cabin. He accuses Mort of plagiarizing his short story, Sowing the Season. Upon reading the shooter's manuscript, Mort discovers it was virtually identical to his own story, Secret Window, except for the editing. So the following day, Mort, who once plagiarized another author's story, tells Shooter that his story was published in a mystery magazine 2 years before Shooter's, invalidating his plagiarism claim. So Shooter demands proof and wants Mort against contacting the police. However, that night, Mort's dog, well, Chico, is found dead outside their cabin, along with a note from Shooter giving Mort 3 days to provide proof. So, yeah, I mean, this Shooter person wasn't really fucking around. So Mort then reports the incident to Sheriff Newscomb. When Mort drives him to his and Amy's house, indicating to receive a copy of the magazine, believes because Ted and Amy are now there. So Mort instead tries to hire a private investigator, Ken Karch, who then takes out, well, the cabin and speaks to Tom Lee Greenleaf, a local resident who may have seen the shooter and Mort talking together. So at the cabin, Shooter appears and demands Mort that he revise his story ending to Shooter's version, where the protagonist kills his wife. When an arson fire destroys Amy and Mort's house, and presumably the magazine, Mort reveals to the police that he has an enemy. So Karch tells Mort that he suspects that Shooter has been threatened, while Greenleaf, after Greenleaf claims that he never saw Mort and Shooter talking together. So Mort and Karch agrees to confront the shooter, but chooses to meet up with Greenleaf at the local diner the next morning. So after arriving late, Mort discovers that neither Karch nor Greenleaf has showed up at the diner. So on his way back, Mort encounters Ted at the gas station, where Ted demands Mort to sign the divorce papers, believing the shooter is in Ted's employ. So Mort refuses, taunts Ted, and then leaves. Later, Shooter then summons Mort at a meeting place, but however, as he arrives, Mort finds Karch and, well, Greenleaf dead inside Greenleaf's truck and passes out of sight. So when he recovers the shooter, he tells Mort that he has killed two of the men because they had interfered with his business, and warns Mort that he deliberately inflicted him into two men murders, having used Mort's axe and a screwdriver as murder weapons, and impales Mort should dispose of the bodies. So Mort agrees to that and meets Shooter at his cabin to show him the magazine containing his story, to which it's supposed to arrive that day. Having been sent overnight as literally agent, Mort later retrieves his tools and then pushes Greenleaf's truck with both bodies still off to a steep cliff into a water filled quarry where it sinks. So Mort retrieves the package containing the magazine from the post office, but found out it's already been opened with the pages containing the story ripped out. So at Mort's cabin, Mort sees Shooter's hat and then puts it on and begins speaking to himself, trying to make sense of the events. Frustrated and in denial, Mort then throws an object on the wall and is surprised to see a growing crack fracture in the cabin in half. Looking at the mirror, that's when he's startled to see a back of the head reflected to instead. So Mort realizes that the shooter is a figment of his imagination. The character brought to life through Mort's undetected dissociative identity disorder unwittingly created the cope to carry out the malevolent tasks that Mort could not do, like killing Shigo, I think that's what the name is, Greenleaf and Karch, as well as burning down their home. That persona takes full control of Mort, almost like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde reference, in a sense, but that's just me. Amy arrives at the cabin, finding it ransacked, and sees the word shooter carved in repetitively on the walls and furniture. So Mort appears speaking and is acting as shooter while wearing his hat. That's when Amy realizes that the name shooter represents Morgan's desire to shoot her. He chases Amy and stabs her in the ankle, although Ted arrives looking for Amy, arrives and is ambushed by Mort, who smashes his face with a shovel. Amy watches helplessly as Mort bedungeons Ted with the shovel while reciting the ending of Sowing the Season, and then murders Amy off screen. So, months later, Mort has recovered from his writer's block and his passion of life returns. However, he is feared and shunned down in town because of the rumors about missing people associated with him. Sheriff Newscomb arrives and tells Mort that he is the prime suspect and is supposed of the murders, warns him that the bodies will eventually be found and then he'll be caught. When he says he's no longer welcome in town, Mort passively dismisses the threat and tells Newscomb to the ending of his news story is perfect. It is implied that Amy and Ted's bodies are buried now under the corn growing in Mort's garden, allowing Mort to slowly destroy the evidence of their murders. However, though, this is something I did not notice, but in the alternative ending cut for the home media, their bodies are shown underneath the earth, and that's how the movie ends. So, this is a really good movie because this one has starring Johnny Depp as the main character, and I never expected Johnny Depp to pretty much be in this movie. I mean, this was a real treat to see, well, Johnny Depp in this movie because Johnny Depp actually plays the main character in this story. And I mean, I honestly really like Johnny Depp in this movie. I thought he was pretty good in this film. I mean, even though the film of this movie was filmed in this north town of North Hatley in Quebec and the eastern townships, which approximately 2 hours from East Montreal, other filming locations include Lake Massasauquipie and stuff like that, and near the village of Bromont, Quebec. However, though, this is honestly one of the most good movies I've ever seen, even though it had Johnny Depp in it. Now, I never expected Johnny Depp to be in this movie, like in a Stephen King movie, but I personally really thought this movie was really enjoyable, and especially for something that was made in 2004. I personally really like that Johnny Depp was in this one. I mean, it's a really great film. It's good. I mean, if you're a fan of Johnny Depp like myself, I highly recommend this movie. This is a really great movie, and I'm going to say right now, you're not going to be disappointed. this is a really great film because it has Johnny Depp in it, which he's one of my favorite actors. I really enjoy Johnny Depp's movies. He's been in other movies such as Pirates of the Caribbean, even the 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. So, honestly, I talked about that one in another video. But in this one, I definitely gotta say this is a pretty good movie involving Johnny Depp. I mean, if you're a Stephen King fan like myself or a Johnny Depp fan, do I recommend this movie? Yes. I highly recommend it. So if you happen to, stumble across this movie, I highly recommend you get it on DVD. It's a really great movie. I think that there is a VHS release because it came out 2004, but I could be wrong though. So, I guess with that being said and that being the case, I personally really recommend you check out this movie if you haven't. You will not be disappointed. So, in all the reality, it's a really good movie, and I personally find it enjoyable and stuff. I mean, it's almost like the, Miss, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, kind of movie almost, because it involves, Mort having, persona, which is an evil one, aka, well, shooter. Honestly, this was a pretty interesting episode. Well, not episode, but movie. So, honestly, do I recommend this movie? Well, if you're a fan of Johnny Depp and if you like Stephen King films, I highly recommend this. Do I like this better than the book? I personally like this one better than the book. Like I personally like the movie better, in my honest opinion. So with that being said, and that being the case, I'm gonna sit here and just say right now that this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you disagree with me, that's fine too. And also, I want to sit here and say that, if you like the book better, that's fine. If you like the movie better, feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So I would like to hear what you think. So, anyways, yeah. With that being said, and that being the case, what did you guys think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better, feel free to leave me what you guys think in the comments below because I want to hear what you guys think. So as always, I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. Also, if you're interested in following my backup channel known as Miss Dark Shigo, link to that will be in the About page section in the on my channel. Also, be sure to go follow me on Twitter and also follow me on DeviantArt if you're interested in following my DeviantArt or if you're interested in following my Twitter or both. Links to those will also be in the About page section of my channel, so you guys can go and find that if you like. So, I guess with that being said, and that being the case, that's pretty much all I have to say. If I'm missing anything, let me know in the comments below if I'm missing something, because I think I might be missing something, but I'm hoping I didn't. So if I'm missing something, let me know. As always, I will say right now, I'm going to be seeing you guys all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, I'll definitely catch you all in the next video.